just a couple of, I was trying to say, there's one on the other side, too, but we're running out here. No, not a whole box, just a couple.
Yeah, you can tell me that.
I said, there's not enough for me, taking the whole thing. Well, no. Something, whatever you have. He just said, you know, he's not one of them.
Or even get ice cream.
Right, exactly, that's probably for my stock. Yeah, and a blank, and then a couple crayons, and a couple pencils, or whatever you like. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's stop on the way. It's a working career.
That's right. Exactly. Trying not to fall.
Sometimes we take hymn books, this time we take crayons.
I mean, the hymn book's not a bad idea.
Do we need a hymn book?
Not really.
No, and then it's
Yeah, yeah.
crayon.
Or either one you prefer, or one of
Or
each.
just one color.
Yeah.
Or I spend everything in color instead of on your bed. With a cat all covered up. Alice isn't here. And some colored pencils or crayons. Alice, colored pencils or crayons. I do. I do.
Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome. Welcome to me, too. I've never been here before, so I guess it's welcome to me. My name is Ted Polano, and I'm an associate pastor. You can't hear me, really? Okay. Wow. All right. Ted Polano, I am an associate pastor at Third Presbyterian Church, just down East Ave. I've been there for about 3 years, and my role just changed, but most recently I was pastor for outreach, mission, as well as congregational care. So it's been a pretty big job. I grew up Catholic, though. I mean, my name is Ted Polano, so with a name like that, you'd think there's got to be Catholic in there. So I grew up Catholic, Assumption Parish in Fairport. Father Kelly, I think, baptized me. Father Biatini, Father Hogan. I believe, I could be wrong, but I believe that our class was the first class to get confirmed by Bishop Clark. So exciting. I loved being Catholic. Had Catholics, priests been able to be married, most likely it would still be Catholic. But that's a whole nother subject for a whole nother time. But I was honored to be asked by Holly to come and be in prayer with you tonight. I love prayer. I met Holly back at Mercy Prayer Center to do to make the spiritual exercises of St. Ignatius, which was really felt sort of coming home to me. And so I've incorporated a little bit of it into our evening tonight. So thank you for being here, for your willingness to assume a prayer posture, both physically, emotionally, and spiritually. Really going to focus tonight on our relationship with God and with love itself. I think those two obviously go together so beautifully. I do want to make sure there's a packet for you. I hope everybody got one of the packets. It has the basic flow for tonight and a blank sheet of paper. You should have a blank sheet of paper and then a crayon or a colored pencil or something to write with. There will be no judging of your writing tonight. It's only for you, so don't worry about it. And just one final note is I have never worn a collar ever in my life as an ordained pastor, but I thought tonight was the perfect chance to try it out in this beautiful space. So thank you. So let us begin with honoring St. Ignatius and the exercise prayer, contemplation on God's love. And Ignatius had a number of different prayer disciplines as a way to go deeper with yourself, deeper with God. And kind of the climax of that for St. Ignatius was contemplation of the love of God. So I'm going to just follow his pattern in this, and I will read a little bit to get you thinking and praying, and then there will be about a 30-second pause for you to reflect on the particular thing that has been lifted up. So again, as we think for a moment, as we get ourselves in that place of prayer, imagine for a moment that your life and all it contains was presented in front of you, all the people and elements that are important. So for a moment, reflect on God's gifts to you: life, family, friends, faith, church, spirituality, the future. Now, imagine that you are standing with Jesus. You're standing facing him. Reflect for a moment on how Jesus loves you and how God in Jesus is self-giving. Now, as you reflect, consider and think about how you have experienced God's continuing loving work in the world. Now, let us reflect on the limitless quality of God's love. As a contemporary paraphrase has it, God's love shines down upon me like the light rays from the sun, or God's love is poured forth lavishly like a fountain spilling forth its waters into an unending stream. And now I invite us all on the back, I think it's on the second page, is the Susipe, if I've said that correctly, from Ignatius. I actually have this up on the wall in my office, so if we could all join together in saying it. Take, Lord, and receive all my liberty, my memory, my understanding, and my entire will, all that I have and call my own. You have given it all to me. To you, Lord, I return it. Everything is yours. Do with it what you will. Give me only your love and your grace. That is enough for me. So I'm going to ask that we spend a couple of minutes in quiet prayer. And as you think about that last prayer of Ignatius, what are you holding on to in your life that you need to really follow this and turn it over? What are you holding on to that you need to just say, Holy One, receive this from me, and just return it to God, a place or a situation, a relationship or something where you just need to turn that over to God. So let's take about 3 minutes and reflect on that. just dawned on me that in my intention to get started, that I didn't begin with prayer. So if you would all just join me in a moment of prayer. Holy, magnificent Creator God, it is such a blessing to be gathered in this space, to be your gathered body. We give thanks for this quiet opportunity to be in contemplative prayer, to be so deeply connected to you and to each other. Holy One, I ask that you just be present here in ways that touch our spirits and our hearts, that move us into deeper relationship with you and with each other. Just continue to be so grateful that you are a God who is among us, who sits with us, who listens to us, and who loves us so deeply. I give you thanks for all those who have gathered here this evening to somehow feel the touch of your Spirit and your love, perhaps even to feel some healing that you pour out gracefully. May our hearts, our souls, our spirits continue to recognize you in this place and in the many areas of our lives that so desperately need you. So guide us this evening in a spirit of prayer, peace, and love. Amen. I'd like now to share this prayer and poem from the late Karl Rahner. Only in love can I find you, my God. In love, the gates of my soul spring open, allowing me to breathe a new air of freedom and forget my own petty self. In love, my whole being screams forth out of the rigid confines of narrowness and anxious self-assertion, which makes me a prisoner of my own poverty and emptiness. In love, all the powers of my soul flow out toward you, wanting never more to return, but to lose themselves completely in you, since by your love you are the inmost center of my heart, closer to me than I am to myself. But when I love, when I manage to break out of the narrow circle of self and leave behind the restless agony of unanswered questions, when my blinded eyes no longer look merely from afar and from the outside upon your unapproachable brightness, and much more when you yourself, O incomprehensible one, have become through love the inmost center of my life, then I can bury myself entirely in you, O mysterious God, and with myself all my questions. Now I'd like to take a moment for us to look at Psalm 46. It really is one of my favorite psalms, and it, to me, talks about this beautiful God that we are in relationship with in, I think, important and powerful ways. And so what I'd like us to do is, I'm going to read it slowly and pause after some of the verses and just ask you to contemplate what that verse means for you in this moment and in this place of your life. So Psalm 46. God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. Therefore, we will not fear, though the earth should change, though the mountains shake in the heart of the sea, though the waters roar and foam, though the mountains tremble with its tumult. There is a river whose streams make glad the city of God, the holy habitation of the Most High. God is in the midst of the city. It shall not be moved. God will help it when the morning dawns. The nations are in an uproar. The kingdoms totter. He utters his voice. The earth melts. The Lord of hosts is with us. The God of Jacob is our refuge. Come, behold the works of the Lord. See what desolations he has brought on the earth. He makes wars cease to the end of the earth. He breaks the bow, shatters the spear. He burns the shields with fire. Be still and know that I am God. I am exalted among the nations. I am exalted in the earth. The Lord of hosts is with us. The God of Jacob is our refuge. I really like this Psalm 46 because it presents itself in such a way that it lends itself to a prayerful time with our Creator, to just spend time with each of these verses, right? I mean, God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. And I like to offer that and just take a moment as I do that to lift up those places in my own life that are in trouble, those places in the world, my community that are in trouble. This is just such a beautiful, prayerful psalm. And I love the reality of so many of the psalms too. They don't really sugarcoat anything. Though the earth should change, the mountains shake, and the heart of the sea. We've all experienced that. And I love the witness that the scriptures have to pray this psalm and to just read through that and to sit with it and say, yes, God, yes, that is so true. And then the flow of it, when you get to verse 5, there's all this going on, and God is in the midst of the city. God will help it when the morning dawns. I like to pray that verse and just sit with it, almost visualizing myself as the darkness starts to fade, and my Creator God, the one who loves me most of all, is there to bring help. At my church, every Tuesday morning at 9:30, we do a community prayer. We lift up the needs. And I read this prayer, this passage before that, and I just think about this verse 9. He makes wars cease to the end of the earth. He breaks the bow, shatters the spear. He burns the shields with fire. And in my prayer this morning, I sort of held God a little bit of accountable to say this is a promise. And so we claim this promise, Holy One. There is too much war internationally, in the States. There's just too much. And so I'd like to use this as a moment of prayer just to say, please, be at work as you have claimed and make us channels of your peace. And then this, obviously, the classic, powerful, be still and know that I am God. So let's just take a couple of minutes for you to be still and know that God is God. was in, excuse me, when I was in college, I had a mentor, Reverend Phil Mitchell, and he had a saying that he would say that life is lived in relationship. I've just found that to be so true, whether it's a relationship with each other, with our Creator, a relationship with nature around us. It is, everything we do is in relationship to something. And it's easy to have those relationships get broken or to get twisted and turned, whether it's something that we have done or someone else. And it really is so vital to reconcile those relationships, to find ways to bring them back into order and into a good place. And I think about, I have a couple of scriptures in here from Matthew 5. So when you are offering your gift at the altar, if you remember your brother or sister has something against you, leave your gift there before the altar and go. First be reconciled to your brother or sister, then come and offer your gift. And from Hebrews, pursue peace with everyone and the holiness without which no one will see the Lord. And there are just so many places in the scriptures that talk about this need to reconcile our relationships with our sisters and brothers. I also think of the first letter of John in chapter 4, where he writes, if you say you love God, but you hate your neighbor, then you're a liar. That's pretty strong words. And so I wanted to invite us into a moment where we can prayerfully think about some of our relationships and some of the places where there may be some brokenness in those relationships. And as you'll see, there's something that we call here a grudge prayer. So the idea is it involves your body a little bit as well as your spirit. So we're going to take a couple of minutes and work through this. And the idea is that you just think of someone with whom you have a broken relationship. It may be the other person's fault, if you will, or yours, or just something went awry. But call to mind someone who is not in a great place with you. And then just take your hand and kind of rub it over your heart, kind of metaphorically sort of rubbing and bringing that pain or that issue to the surface. And then just sort of take a moment and hold the pain out away from your body and sort of lift it away from your heart and release it in a way of bringing healing. And as you do so, just praying to God, something along the lines of, may God bring healing. God, please, I ask your help with this situation. But something that sort of, for you, calls the Creator into that place of healing. So let's just take a few moments, and if it's just one person, then it's just one person. But if there are multiple people or situations, then you can just kind of invite God into all of those. So thank you for participating with that. I know it can be a challenge to think about those places in our lives, but I also feel like that really is the place where we can invite Christ in. That's a place of real need, because the more reconciliation we have, the healthier our relationships are in this world, then the healthier the world is. So I'd like us to take a few moments and do what I like to call a tracing prayer. And it's exactly that. You take a moment and call to mind people for whom you have just deep affection, deep caring. And using, again, our bodies to pray, I think it's just essential that we use more than just our spirits and our voices, but our bodies to pray. So just take the hand, it doesn't matter which one, and just trace that person's initials or their name into your hand. And then you can close it and say love or peace or something that you would like that person to have in their lives. You can hold it to your heart and do the same thing. So we're going to take a few minutes and do that. You can also do it for situations. If there's a situation in the world that you feel really could use some extra prayer and love, you can do it with that as well. And if you want to go next level on this, and think about someone maybe whom you just lifted up with a broken relationship, or someone that you find challenging, and call to mind that person and write their name in your hand and pray for them to have love as well. So you should all have something to write with and a blank sheet of paper. So we want to do another prayer practice that is similar to the one we just did, but perhaps is more visual. And I have to say, I don't know, I haven't done that last prayer practice in a while, and I found it very moving to really call people to mind and to feel that and where my heart is. I'm gonna have to do that more. I confess I haven't done it enough. It was really beautiful. I had a beautiful moment. But this time, just to take that paper and to start by drawing a shape, whatever shape the Spirit leads you to draw. And again, this isn't about perfection or anything. It's just about the Holy Spirit leading us in this moment in the way that we need to be led. So just take a moment, draw some sort of shape, and then inside that shape, or along the edges of it, to just put someone's name, or again, a situation. And then as you are lifting that person or situation in prayer, just add some details to it. You can color it in or draw lines and dots and circles on it. But again, every sort of stroke that you make, continue to think about that person or that situation and just really inviting God's presence into that person's life or that situation. You can do this for a number of people or situations. Every time you feel like the Spirit has led you to a place of completion with that one, just go on, a new shape, a new name, and just continue that. So we have one final piece. I do want to say thank you for your openness to try some things a little different, try some different forms of prayer. I just find prayer to be so amazing and so available. This time of connection and communion with God can be found in so many ways, in so many places, in so many times. With that last one, if you do it in the morning, you can just fold that paper up and carry it with you throughout the day as a reminder of those people and situations that you love and that love you. And it can be something that carry you through some of the challenges that you might have throughout the day. So thank you again for the invitation, for the opportunity to be here, for your faithfulness in prayer. Prayer is just so essential to us as children of God. So I want to leave you with a poem by the 14th century Persian poet Hafez. It's called With That Moon Language. And actually originally heard it from Father Greg Boyle out from LA. It's in one of his books, and I just find it to be so beautiful. It's short and sweet, but it really speaks to this idea of God's love being placed in us and us choosing what we can do with that. So with that moon language, admit something. Everyone you see, you say to them, love me. Of course, you do not do this out loud, or otherwise someone would call the cops. Still, though, think about this great pull in us to connect. Why not become the one who lives with a full moon in each eye that is always saying, with that sweet moon language, what every other eye in this world is dying to hear?
So thank you all, and thank you, Ted, that beautiful experience for tonight, and thank you for everybody braving the heat of this space. Have a good night.
just thought, my God, he would have been ancient at this point.
You were with the homeless village. You were?
We do.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the homeless.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And side.
Well, there's a group of
Okay,
Greeks.
okay.
ACREs.
Okay, yeah.
So she told her husband, you know, the woods.
Oh, yeah, yeah, that's right.
Somebody
That's
else, well,
We were, yeah.
But you know, it's a good stuff.
Nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
cool.
I'm glad to up and help you out.
Yeah, there's a lot going on there.
Thank you.
He's a good one.
Thank you for the good tools.
Oh, yes.
And you said Father Kelly, did you mean Mother Kelly? Oh my God, you must have been ancient.
I'm pretty sure he baptized me. At that point, my family, oh, thank you. My family was in his rock. Because we lived there when I was born.
There's too much, because when
Yeah.
I was a child, Mother Kelly was in Trumansburg. And when I would go to visit my grandparents in the summertime, and we would go summer on this, so it was the pastor of that. And I knew he was in Fairport and his
Isn't that
school
funny?
in Richmond and all that. Well, I thought you're too young for that.
My mom would tell stories of, like, he would be doing the homily, and if there was a child that was making noise, he would just stop. He would not go forward. So he would quiet the child and walk out with the child.
Wow.
Brother Kelly was not.
He was not fooling around.
Well, he had been the chaplain at Mason College.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes, back in the, before Bill Shannon, or early on, he was the chaplain, one of the first.
Isn't that funny?
I mean, can you imagine? He had quite a career.
Yeah.
Well, he was so, like, strict, and not in a bad way, just in the Father Kelly way. And then Father B came to walk on the Genie, and he was very different. He was, like, very jovial, and, yeah.
The thing I
funny.
always remember about Kelly was when I was a little kid. He was our little friend from Auburn, and I would cringe. I hated anybody doing this. It made me feel like if you're diminished.
Yeah, and our little friend.
Yeah.